Do you know what it takes to build an infrastructure for an organization? And when we think about infrastructure, think about the underlying components of any application. For example, a server, hardwares like routers, switches, firewalls, the underlying cabling, and then everything that goes with the physical infrastructure. You need a lot of security, monitoring, log access, load balancing, clustering, storage resiliency, backups, and this list can just go endless. These are the services that any application will need for it to function properly. The infrastructure as a service provider will supply this range of services to you as a service. So you do not have to go ahead and create that infrastructure on your premise. In infrastructure as a service, the cloud provider will host the infrastructure components that I just listed, and it will be hosted in their data center. All the servers, storage, and the networking hardware, as well as the hypervisor layer, will all be provided by the cloud provider like Microsoft Azure, Amazon, IBM Cloud, etc. So you do not have to worry about the underlying cabling or procuring the hardware for your virtual machine. As an infrastructure as a service customer, all you have to do is have access to the internet and probably a subscription with the cloud provider. And then you can provision a virtual machine of whatever configuration you want. You can go ahead and transfer all the workloads to the cloud provider in the virtual machine in the cloud. Cloud customers can use cloud providers, racks, switches, and firewalls, and that can be provisioned in a matter of minutes. Any cloud computing model requires the participation of a provider, and that includes infrastructure as a service as well. The provider is a third-party organization who's selling the IaaS services. For example, it could be Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud Platform, or Microsoft Azure. The businesses might have to deploy a cloud environment, becoming their own infrastructure services. Organizations will choose infrastructure as a service because it is very easy, fast, and cost efficient to operate a workload without having to buy and manage the underlying infrastructure. IaaS is the effective model for workloads that are temporary, but some of the organizations have gone for permanent workloads as well. Infrastructure as a service is the most basic category of cloud computing services. With infrastructure as a service, you rent IT infrastructure servers, virtual machines, storage, networks, and operating systems from a cloud provider on a pay-as-you-go basis. So it is instant computing infrastructure because they are provisioned instantly, they are managed instantly over the internet, and when you don't want it, you can just decommission that virtual machine. Remember that in infrastructure as a service, there are no upfront costs. Users just pay for what they consume. The user is responsible for purchase, installation, configuration, and management of the software inside that operating system. But remember that the cloud provider is then responsible for ensuring that the underlying cloud infrastructures, let's say as virtual machines, storage, and networking, is always available for the user. So when you use infrastructure as a service, ensuring that the service is up and running is a shared responsibility. In the next set of videos, we will also learn about what is a shared responsibility model, and there's a lot we need to talk and understand about it in detail. In the next video, we'll learn about the common usage scenarios of infrastructure as a service.